Court is now in session for... How do I say it?
Mark it obey, Your Honor, the pixie of the Apregio.
Right, he's trial. Court is now in session. Defense is ready, Your Honor.
The prosecution is A-OK, Judge.
Very well, Prosecutor Gavin.
My opening statement, yeah.
No, actually. There was something else I wanted to ask you about.
Yes?
Sir, you're going to visit someone in the hospital with an incurable disease. What do you say to them? Wait, what?
Eh?
I mean, you wouldn't say get well soon, right? You'd only be kicking them when they're down.
Ugh, what are you talking about?
Oh, actually, I'm going to visit someone who is terminally ill. Right after this trial, the Chief Justice's son.
The Chief Justice?
His son is afflicted with the most terrible disease. He doesn't have long, it seems. So I thought I'd go pay him a visit. I thought saying something moving might be the order of the day.
Why don't grown-ups ever just say what's on their mind instead of pretending?
She's looking at me with something like disgust. Hey, what are you looking at me like that for? In any case, I'm a bit busy today, so let's wrap this up quickly. Prosecutor Gavin, your opening statement, briefly.
You're in luck here, Judge. I believe you'll be going on your hospital visit sooner than you think. First, a review of the victim of this case. Romain Latouche, age 35. The global manager for Diva Songstress L'Amour. The cause of death, blood loss due to being shot by a large caliber revolver. The report has all the details.
The court accepts this into evidence.
Alright, I'm gonna check that.
45 caliber, that's quite large, isn't it? A direct hit from that could knock a man off his feet. However, the bullet struck him in his shoulder.
However, the bullet struck him in his shoulder. The damage to the body was slight, death was not immediate. Sadly, his blood loss was due to that he could not be saved.
Suppose the victim's condition could have been much worse, considering. What was that? Sorry.
One shot missed, the other penetrated and passed through the victim's shoulder. Both bullets were found in the wall at the scene, observe the diagram.
Yeah.
This is where the bullets hit.
I see, the court accepts his evidence.
Diagram added to the court record. So, the way I see it, there are two possibilities. One, the killer was standing at the window and shot through, thus it went through the target twice. And both hit the wall then. Or it's the opposite way around. The killer was on the other side of the hallway, shot at the wall for some reason, and then shot the man. But I doubt that's the case, because the way Romain was just laying, it's like he was shot from the window. So, I don't know.
If we're talking about the 45 caliber revolver, we must assume that the killer was adept at the weapon's use.
Really?
Yeah, apparently weapons its size have a powerful kickback. If, say, the judge tried to fire one, it'd break every bone in his body. The defense will take more care in choosing examples.
As I was saying, the victim was shot backstage in a dressing room. The dressing room has only one entrance, the door. Like always, it's always the door.
Like, where else would you come in? The closet? Sorry. That does seem to be the case, yes.
However, there were witnesses who heard the gunshots. He's talking about you and Emma, huh? Yet, when the witness entered the room, it was empty, save for the victim's body, of course.
But that's impossible.
Exactly, the murder was impossible. For all but one person. Are they going to call it a suicide?
One person?
That is, of course. The defendant, Marquis Tobay. Oh, really? I mean, how? Let me guess, he's small enough to go out the window?
Only this defendant could have committed the crime. But how?
It's quite simple. The circumstance of the crime scene make it clear.
Very well, assume you have testimony to back up this claim. Let the witness please take the stand.
Oh, him. Your name and profession, please. Emma Skye, I'm a detective for the police department. I was in security detail at the concert forum that night.
Emma seems tired somehow. Security at the concert, you say?
Some security I was. Couldn't even stop a murder.
No, don't blame yourself. Things like this happen. I've made even bigger mistakes in my career, you know. I'm sure that makes her feel much better.
I want to hear about these big mistakes. In any case, because you were on security detail, the crime was quickly discovered, and we were able to identify the killer. You may give the court your testimony if you would. Describe the circumstances of the day and your discovery of the crime, please. Alright.
Murderous circumstances.
The night of the murder, I was on security backstage, Prosecutor Gavin's request. Only people involved with the concert in some way were allowed backstage. At the beginning of the third set, I heard shots. I went into the room filled with blaring rock music and found the body. I examined the scene and determined that only the defendant could have done it.
It was lucky that a detective was the first on the scene.
But that door was the only way out of the room, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
And I don't get it. How can they say that Marky did it?
Look, looks like we need to, we need a bit more information. Very well, the defense may begin the cross-examination.
Alrighty.
Bring it on!
The night of the murder, I was on security backstage at Prosecutor Gavin's request.
Hold it! The night of the murder was the night of the concert, yes.
That's right.
What was the detective doing on security detail, might I ask? If it was only a concert.
My thoughts exactly. But orders are orders, even when they come from rock guards.
Prosecutor Gavin.
Yes, allow me to explain. I smelled something that day, you might say, the stench of a conspiracy. The day at the concert hall.
Conspiracy?
Well, isn't it obvious? My keys, the whole morning, no, the whole day was ruined. And it's all because someone stole my keys. I couldn't ride my hog to the show, I couldn't open my guitar case. There he goes again.
Isn't it possible he simply misplaced them?
Misplaced them? Misplaced items don't just wander into a murder victim's hand on their own.
What's this? Prosecutor Gavin, if your keys were in the victim's hand. That makes you a prime suspect. The judge's bar goes down. Penalty! What?
Love slow acting and no new Atroquin is waiting for you. Atroquinine. He's singing something.
Does everything with this guy have to be so over the top?
The killing happened in the middle of my concert. I was like a sailor adrift on a sea of sound. Anyway, I didn't want anything else stolen. So I put the detective with the most time on their hands on the task.
I see, I can accept that.
Well, I can't. What do you mean, time on their hands? I just eat snacks all day. That takes time.
Please, the testimony.
Only people involved with the concert in some way were allowed backstage.
We were let in, though.
I didn't know about that. I certainly didn't invite you. I gave the Fräulein special permission to be there. I wanted to see her again. Oh boy, did you hear that? We're officially involved now.
Gee, great, and I'm just the third wheel.
See, I'm seeing some other hangers on tried to get backstage, but I drove them off.
So no other outsiders were there, then?
And then, at the beginning of the third set, I heard shots.
I believe we were having a chat when we heard the shots.
You were the one chatting. I was eating snackoos and throwing them at you.
Oh, hey, no snacking court.
And you're sure the shots came from Lamar's room?
Yes, absolutely.
Hey, I'm the one being cross-examined here. Here, this'll keep you quiet.
Katonk. Oh, thanks. So, how about, Emma?
Yo, we were right, there. Hard to be mistaken about that.
Please, either talk or eat, not both at the same time. Gulp.
Right, so after that, me and Mr. Lawyer there opened the dressing room door. I went into the room filled with blaring rock music and found the body.
Rock?
Blaring, yes.
When you say rock, are you referring perhaps to this rock and roll music that's so popular these days?
Rock and roll.
Sorry. That's right, when we went into the dressing room. Music was blaring over the speaker on the wall. They pipe sound from the stage into the backstage through speakers. That way people in the back can hear when they're supposed to be on stage. It had to be so loud.
You don't listen to the Gaviners with your ears. You feel it with your entire body and soul. I always had the backstage monitors at full volume. When we walked into the room, the band was playing Guilty Love, I believe, making it easy to determine the time of the crime.
If you can hear the music playing.
Then everyone on stage for the song has an alibi, including myself. Anyway, I closed off the scene and started my investigation. I examined the scene and determined that only the defendant could have done it.
You sure? How could you know something like that?
As I said, it was clear from the circumstances. Listen, we know there was only one exit from the room, that door. The small window only opened a tiny crack, and I was standing in front of that door. So how could the killer have fled the scene? There's only one possibility, the air vent.
Oh! But the air vent was too small. Who could possibly...
Exactly. There's certainly no way you could get through. The only one who could fit through was a child.
A child?
Remember, access to those rooms were limited. Only those involved with the concert were allowed. And of all the people involved with the concert, only one is small enough to be considered a child.
The defendant!
The pixie of Arpeggio flitted up towards the sky, and disappeared from the scene of the crime.
But that's just conjecture.
Oh, there was no other way out of the room. You were there, you should know, Hair Forehead. And there is another vital piece of evidence.
Evidence? What?
Marks were found in the air vent grill. Traces that it had recently been opened.
Wait, what?
And something else was found, quite clearly. The defendant Machi Tobia's fingerprints.
What? What? Order!
That air vent was only the way out of the room. The defendant's fingerprints were found on the grill. Well, Hair Forehead, what fairy tale does this suggest to you? Only one could pass through that vent, that doorway to heaven. And that one is our pixie. Why are you looking at me, Apollo? Hey, I was out whooping out in the audience. Yeah, I know, I'm not blaming you, you bloody hell.
So this was his decisive plan. Quite decisive indeed. I believe there's enough of that. Prosecution is a rather convincing case. The only way in and out of the crime scene was watched, making the defendant the only one who could possibly leave the scene. Simple and decisive. Ugh. I believe we've heard enough to determine our verdict, even if I wasn't in a hurry to make a hospital visit.
I'm sure the Chief Justice will appreciate the jester. Unfortunately, we have no direct witnesses. Unfortunately, the criminal left decisive evidence for us. That will have to be enough.
It can't be over already. Very well, I believe this trial is finished, if the defense has no contradicting evidence.
The prosecution has presented our proof clear and plain. If you have contradicting evidence, it had better be clear and plain. Apollo, they've got us on the ropes already. We'd better come up with something quick.
I know. Think. What can get us out of here? We need evidence or a witness that can prove Machi's innocent beyond a doubt. Without that... Mr. Justice, do you have contradicting proof that can overturn the prosecution's case? If you do, you better tell us about it now. This is it. It's so soon. If I mess this one up, it's all over. The court wants contradicting proof. Call a witness. Prosecutor Gavin, you claim that there was no witnesses to this crime. Are you absolutely sure?
Absolutely, I'd swear it on my career as a prosecutor. And on my million-seller hit assigned Otrequinine, my love. There he goes again.
That's too bad, because there was a witness. Oh, really? But how did you come to possess knowledge that prosecution clearly does not? Because I'm the only one in the world who knows this. What's going on? I just talked to him and now... He's alive. Miss Latouche can hear me.
Cold, so cold. Witness.
You're cold, don't worry. You're going to be fine. Help is on the way.
Can't see.
Hang in there, Miss Latouche. Tell me who the witness is.
The witness is Siren.
What? The victim said this before he died?
Perhaps he did, and perhaps he did not.
What do you mean by that?
All we know is what Herr Forehead says he said. Yeah, that's true. It's not testimony, especially since it comes from the defense attorney himself.
But it's the truth, he said it. I even told you about it. But apparently you ignored me completely.
It's my policy to fully investigate everything I deem relevant. Clearly, this rookie lawyer thinks he can tell me how to do my job.
That's enough. Mr. Justice, we need clear contradictory proof from you. The witness of yours, unknown to the prosecution. I hope you're right. Failure carries a stiff penalty.
Perhaps a stiffer penalty than usual is called for.
Oh, there's no backing out now. Let's hear the name of your witness.
Alright, it's Lamoire. Lamoire. Lamoire? Lamoire? Let me roll.
Recall Mr. Latusa's last words.
The witness is a siren.
The siren, aha! He mentioned the siren.
That's right, the siren of Ballard, Lamoire.
Lamoire was only on stage for the second set, and she had access to the backstage area. She could have been a witness. I see. Well, Prosecutor Gavin.
My claim still stands. There was no witness to the crime.
Very well. Let's hear it from the horse's mouth then, shall we? We will now take a break from Detective Emmett Sky's cross-examination. It didn't last that long, but who the fuck cares? Please show Lamoire to the witness stand.
Lamoire would say nothing the night of the murder. Not today, though. Today we'll drag the story out of her no matter what it is. She won't speak English, though. She's in public. It is my distinct honor to welcome to the Siren of the Ballard to our courtroom. You are too Oh, she's actually speaking English. You are too kind.
Oh, you can speak English?
Yes, I can. Though I am not very good. This is much I do not know.
You speak so well. Have you spent time here before?
Actually, I do not know how I came by my knowledge of your language, nor when I studied it.
What does she mean? She doesn't know. She's faking. Come on, you know. She told you this, Paula.
I too thought to call her as a witness, but I did not. I had a reason, of course.
What's that?
Lamoire suffers from amnesia.
Amnesia?
Lamoire is not my name, yet I remember nothing of my time before I was given it. Nothing of the time before I started singing on stage.
Remoraid Amnesia, I think it's called, or something like that. Renegade?
Well, she's even more mysterious than I thought. As a lauded singer Lamoire, she lives a good life. There are little difficulties for her thanks to her success. Yet I did not wish to subject her to unnecessary stress.
I see. I care surprisingly little about people's past. What? You have nothing to fear in this court, Lamoire. I was about to say, that sounded rude, but it wasn't.
Thank you. Yet there is something I do not understand. I am being called as a witness. What might I say? No one will tell me anything of what happened.
Lamoire,
let me be frank. I did not want to ask you up here to testify. Yet that young gentleman with that weird wide forehead over there was adamant that you stand. Oh my! Congratulations, Apollo. You're the bad kid.
Ugh.
Congratulations, sicko. Congratulations, Herr Forehead.
Well, now that you're here, please give us your testimony. If nothing else, the sound of your voice is welcome. Tell us what you saw the night of the crime.
God damn. Okay, let's do it. As for what I saw nothing. The night I was invited to sing on stage, and this I did. I did not return backstage after the second stage, or something. Then I was led by the police to Mr. Gavin's dressing room and told to wait there. That was where I learned that something had happened, but I wasn't told the details.
Okay. I must say, you sound wonderful, just terrifying. I hope he was too distracted to hear what she was actually saying.
There you have it. She saw nothing that night. Now we can only pray that the defense has the sense to admit defeat, and refrain from detaining her here any longer than need be. Well, you just get badder, Apollo. Way to go.
Ugh. Very well, Mr. Justice. Keep it short and sweet.
Lamora wouldn't talk to me the night of the crime. She must know something, and I've got to find out what.
Bring it on!
As for what I saw nothing.
But you must have seen something. Mr. Latouche named you.
Mr. Latouche? How can I tell you what I don't know?
Lamora, he said you were a witness with these dying words.
I do not know what he meant to say that night. That night I was invited to sing on stage, and thus I did.
It was a great concert.
You heard me sing, thank you.
I was hoping to get an autograph later, actually.
Of course.
Mr. Justice, this is a cross-examination. You're out of line. If anyone deserves an autograph here, it's me. Well, I don't know, my gavel would be nice.
Here, Judge.
Oh, what's this?
It's my autograph. Now keep this trial moving.
Oh, what? Oh, my grandchild will be so happy. Apparently his grandson is a big fan.
Let us continue, shall we? If you would, Lamora. Okay. Tell us what you did after your stellar performance. I did not return backstage after the second set.
You did not return backstage once. Where were you then? What were you doing?
I was cleaning up on stage. There are many things I must do for a performance other than simply sing.
And was Machi with you at the time?
Unfortunately, I do not know where he was.
So much for an alibi for Machi.
Then I was led by the police to Mr. Gavin's dressing room.
With Machi correct, how was he then?
He seemed as he always did. Though I believe he was shocked by the news of Miss Latouche's death. Yet he is not the type to show much emotion. Yes, he was given the choice. La 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 la. He answers most questions with silence, and those glinting frames speak nothing. The questioning hasn't gotten very far. We sat there waiting.
Okay.
That was where I learned that something bad had happened, but I wasn't told the details.
How was the incident explained to you?
I was told nothing in detail, only that Miss Latouche died.
Of course, investigations require some security.
But Mr. Latouche was my manager. I wanted to know more, I should have been told. Both Machi and I were beside ourselves with concern. Allow me to apologize, but please understand. Keeping you in the dark was as painful for me as it was for you. Yes, I understand.
Think, what doesn't ring true about her testimony?
It's hard to imagine Lamora lying. She might not be
lying, but she's hiding something. What wouldn't she tell me the night of the murder?
As for what I saw nothing. Not as about the stage, and I did not return backstage after the second set.
That's a lie, because your brooch was found there.
Objection!
And I believe she had a brooch while she was singing. I'm sorry, Lamora, but I'm having trouble believing you.
What?
You remember this brooch, do you not?
Why, that's Lamora's. She was wearing it for a song.
Get add that to the testimony, Prosecutor Gavin. What? What? This brooch was found after the murder took place, at the very scene of the crime. But what? Lamora, how did a brooch get us backstage? And as Prosecutor Gavin just told us, you had been wearing it during your performance that night. Whoa! What is the meaning of this? Lamora, please explain. Lamora. Up.
She says English is quite difficult.
Trick's not going to work here.
Your forehead may be large, but you are a lawyer, truly. But you have missed one important fact.
What now?
In fact, at the time of the incident, I went backstage, but only for a moment.
What?
Think back to the moment of the crime. You know whereof I speak.
Is she really saying all that?
What's she talking about, Apollo?
Right when the incident occurred. Ugh! She's talking about that?
Watch this room for me.
Watch this room for me, I have to go back up. Right, understood. You want me to make sure no one comes in, right? Miss Latouche, can you hear me?
Cold.
So cold.
Witness.
You're cold. Don't worry. You're going to be fine. Help is on the way.
The witness is Siren.
Siren? How can a siren witness anything? Pipes, Emma. What was that? Who's there?
What's wrong?
Emma, did you see anyone just now?
Huh? No.
Could have sworn I heard a door close.
I looked into that room. Just a glance, mind you. So this is when your brooch dropped. That explains that. It does. There was no other time I could have dropped it.
That's ridiculous. You only looked in for an instant, but you dropped your brooch.
Hair, forehead. She has raised the possibility. The only thing you can counter that is evidence.
So she looked in at the crime scene.
Actually, I intended to go into the dressing room. I knew nothing of what had happened, of course. But the moment I opened the door, I heard a horrible voice. Hair, forehead shouting, "Who's there?" no doubt. A horrible voice indeed.
Ugh. Stop mocking me.
I closed the door immediately.
Well, that explains the brooch. Let's return to your testimony. It's too convenient. She's hiding something. I'm wrong. You did look into the room, though, right?
Yes.
Testify as to what you saw.
Very well, though it was only the briefest of glimpses.
Okay.
Well, the performance was finished. I went backstage. For a moment.
Okay, press. What did you see in that brief glimpse?
I had only opened the door slightly when I heard that horrible voice.
And shut the door.
I have always wondered, Hair Forehead. Does that voice of yours lack a volume knob?
It's my cord of steel, man. Just back off.
I saw nothing. The late Mr. Latusse's body was behind a wall.
Oh, okay. So this is a second part to it. Oh, I can touch the bracelet here. Is it something here? I can't see her hands on this portrait here, so I doubt it's her hands. Oh, here again. So maybe she's breathing unsteadily? No. Here again. There it is.
Gotcha!
The late Mr. Latusse's body, you say?
Yes.
You know something more about Mr. Latusse's death than he was saying.
What?
I can see you trying not to remember, but the effort made you swallow. You can't fool my eyes.
It is true. It was terrible. After all, why did Mr. Latusse have to be shot?
Wait, how do you know that? One moment, Lemuel. Yes?
Yes?
What was that you just said? Why did Mr. Latusse have to be shot?
Yes.
She was hiding something, I knew it. Lemuel, I'm afraid you haven't realized it, but your words just now contradict your testimony.
Huh? How could that be?
Take this! Lemuel contradicted her own testimony, and I have the evidence to prove it. This, right? Information concerning the crime to be restricted to the police and stuff. Tell me, Lemuel, how did you know he had been shot?
Well,
Immediately following the incident, a gag order was placed on the scene. This is the document proving that now. In your testimony, you told the court. No one told me anything about the incident. Furthermore, you testified that you had seen nothing. Yet you knew that Mr. Latusse had been shot. How could you have known?
York!
There we go. Lemuel! You aren't hiding anything from this court, I hope. That sweet song of hers was sounding a little too sweet.
Now I remember. Please, allow me to add to my testimony. Of course. All we want to know is the truth. She looks kind of pale, huh?
She saw something, I know it. Even the victim said so. I saw bullet holes in the wall when you Miss Litu's been shot.
Really?
Oh, nope. Okay, I don't mind that. I thought I pressed something wrong. Only a glimpse, yet you knew the bullets were there.
Yes, I recognize them immediately. I've seen bullet holes before, you know.
You have traveled the world.
You must have sung in places far more dangerous than our country. I go wherever my voice is needed. Those places are many these days. That's really cool. I hope I get to travel like Lemoiz someday. I plan on recording my next album overseas. Their studios have a different sound, you know.
Maybe I should go on a Chords of Steel tour too. Chords of Steel. Then I was led by the police to Mr. Yeah. Okay, so what I want to present is this. She wouldn't have seen the bullet holes. The door was blocking the entrance. If she'd only peeked in, why would she look at there? So yeah, I'm gonna present this. Lemroy, they call you the Siren of the Blood. The lies are hardly becoming of such a creature. A put down worthy of our prosecutor, Mr. What? I am no prosecutor.
Such put-downs are hardly becoming of you, Apollo. Stop polishing your forehead and stop polishing your character, yeah?
Come on, can I be cool for once? Come on, I got two pointy hair things. Lemroy, you looked into for just a moment, correct?
Yes, that is so.
There were bullet holes in the room, yes. But they were in the wall. The door is on. You see, assuming you merely glanced into the room, you couldn't have seen these bullet holes. Lemroy.
Yes.
I'm afraid the defense has raised a good point. It appears you have been holding back something.
And I must tell you what it is that I saw.
Yes. The happenings in this trial are being recorded, and I'm certain it will be on the news in Borgino. You understand your reputation is at stake. It falls to you to avoid tarnishing it.
Personally speaking, I still believe that cross-examining her will yield us about absolutely nothing.
But she knew how Miss Litus died, and he named her as a witness. You must have seen something, Lemroy. Very well. Lemroy, please continue your testimony.
Very well, I will.
What I saw too.
I was on my way from the stage to the backstage exit. There was something like a little window there. That's how I saw it. There were two shots. I couldn't do anything. But it wasn't Marky. It was a grown person. I know it was.
So you did witness the crime. The killer was a grown person, you say.
This is my first time hearing this, I assure you. Nice play here, forehead.
Very well, Mr. Justice, you may begin your cross-examination.
Great going, Apollo. You were right about Lemroy. What's wrong? You don't look too happy.
This whole thing smells fishy. That's what's wrong. What I saw too. I was on my way from the stage to the backstage exit. So you were heading towards the dressing room?
Yes.
So this is a little before she opened the dressing room door and dropped her brooch. About the same time Emma and I heard these shots.
I was on my way back. There was something like a little window there. That's how I saw it.
Oh, he must have seen her out the window and realized. Oh, what exactly is something like a little window?
Yes, well, window is the best word I know in English. I think this is how I said it, yes.
You need not worry, Lemroy. Your choice of words is impeccable.
There is a small window in the dressing room in question. Perhaps the defense remembers this detail.
The little window on the wall.
I saw the crime from there. There were two shots. I couldn't do anything to stop it, but it wasn't Marky.
You're certain you heard two shots fired?
Yes, quite certain. I was on my way to the backstage exit. This is when I heard a faint sound like a gunshot. Wondering what it had been, I peered through the window. That is when I heard the second gunshot, much closer.
And there were 2 bullet holes at the scene. No contradictions so far.
It all happened on the other side of the window. There was nothing I could do. But it wasn't Marky.
It wasn't Marky who shot. Are you sure?
Yes, quite certain. It amuses me that you would question her testimony. It is testimony in your favor, isn't my job to object? Yes, Apollo, what are you thinking?
Trucy, let's just listen to what Lamroy has to say. Can you tell me how you were so sure?
Yes, of course, you see. It was a grown person, I know it was.
A grown person? That's a little vague.
I'm sorry, my skill with your language is lacking, I know.
Certainly you could at least see whether the shooter was a male or female.
It was a man, a young man.
And you're sure of that?
Yes, his voice was quite clear. There was that guy that was walking down the halls in the yellow robe. Could it be like it was him or something? I don't know though. That's what I'm a little confused about. Because if it was him, I believe he's what do you call it? I believe he's the famous magician that Trucy likes. His face looks a little similar, and while the picture was black and white, he has a big robe that could match it. So if it was him, how would he play in? I doubt he'd be the killer, because he seems like an important guy if he's Trucy's favorite magician. I don't know. Voice. Looking at this diagram, it seems the dressing room was cluttered. It does seem more likely that she wouldn't have had a clear view of the shooter. As a singer, I rely more on my ears than my eyes. When I hear a voice, I do not forget it. That voice was the voice of a man. So you heard a voice, but wait. Couldn't that have been the victim, Mr. Latouche? Absolutely not. Did I not just say that I did not forget a voice? If it was Mr. Latouche who spoke, I would have known. Indeed. So you were at the window and you heard the shooter's voice, the voice of a young man. Oh, this is a good testimony. That proves it wasn't Marky. Indeed. If this turns out to be true, it would cast this case in a considerably different light. What is the defense's opinion of this testimony? It's contradictory. They will pains me to say this. There's something about Lamroy's testimony that rings false. Bravo, Herr Forehead. You're colder than I thought. I'm sure you remember what the problem is as well as I do, Gavin. As has been established, no grown man could pass through the air vent. He couldn't have fled the scene of the crime. But that means Lamroy has to be lying. I know, and I know it's bad for our case, but I can't shut my eyes to this. Believe me, the idea was tempting. It is as Herr Forehead says. Yet, this is not the only contradiction. What's next? What's he talking about? Lamroy, I understand why you want to protect Marchi. Yet I remember you are the siren of Ballard, and lies do not become such a creature. What does the prosecution say? Polo, what's he talking about? How come no one bats an eye when he says stuff like that? I recall the state of the crime scene quite well. The state of the room? Yes, when the murder took place. That window was closed. I find it hard to believe you could hear a voice through it. Oh, yeah. What? But I'm sure. Lamroy, I have nothing but the highest regard for your musical sense. But my opinion of you as a witness is somewhat lesser. But she's the only eyewitness we have. So you say, and the victim named her the siren as the witness. That's right, that's what Mr. Latouche. We heard you claim, we even entered the possibility, and it brought us to this. Here, Judge. Yes. Prosecution requests that the witness be excused. Please. I'm afraid I must honor the prosecution's request. There is indeed a question of the witness's credibility. But if Lamroy can't testify, we don't have a chance of proving Marky's innocence. Cross-examination is over, Prosecutor Gavin.
You may continue making your case.
Danke. Now where were we? Ah yes, I would like to hear from Fallen Detective again.
Objection!
Wait, let me hear Lemoine's testimony one last time. The cross-examination is already over, till such a time as a need arises. The witness may leave the stand.
I'm sorry I could not be of more assistance.